Okay then, in this video we will discuss cloud computing models, which are also known as cloud computing service types. There are mainly three cloud computing models. The first one is infrastructure as a service, which is also known as IaaS. So in here in IaaS you can rent an on-demand IT infrastructure. So for instance, you can rent virtual servers, databases, storage, networking, etc., and build your own infrastructure. And this gives you the highest level of flexibility among three cloud computing models. So we'll talk about other two, but just understand that this one gives you the highest level of flexibility, right? So in other words, you can build your infrastructure as you want. For instance, you can select your virtual server, database, or storage, and then you can grow your infrastructure or shrink it based on your workload. So you can specify your operating system, etc. And for instance, if it's a web application or other kind of application, then you can just automatically, this service can automatically adjust to the workload, right? And definitely you can use that infrastructure for whatever you want. All right, so now let's talk about examples, because with examples it's easier to understand, and also it's easier to remember. So now regarding examples, AWS EC2 and DigitalOcean are two examples relating to infrastructure as a service. Right, so let's take a look at them. So first of all, AWS EC2, and then DigitalOcean. So this is a management console of the AWS. So this is a main management console. So you don't need to follow me in this tutorial. So now, if you go, if I go to services, so I can here under compute, I can find EC2, and I'm gonna open this. So this is a web page relating to AWS EC2, and I'll scroll down in here, and then you can read in here, launch an Amazon EC2 instance, which is a virtual server. So this is a virtual server, all right? So you can launch this kind of virtual server in AWS and build your own infrastructure. In other words, you can integrate this virtual server with other AWS services. For instance, there are other services like storage service, S3, or database. Under this database, you can see there are several databases, right? So DynamoDB, Elasticache, Neptune, etc. So if you scroll down again, so you can see in here, networking and content delivery. So there are other services in here. So that means you can integrate these services with these virtual server, and you can build your own infrastructure, right? And this will be an example of IaaS, right? So now let's take a look at the second example, which is DigitalOcean. So now I'm in Google search engine. So in here I will write DigitalOcean. So, and then this is digitalocean.com. This is an official website of the DigitalOcean. Now let's talk about what this DigitalOcean, what this DigitalOcean is about. So this DigitalOcean is a cloud infrastructure. So you can read in here, it's an American cloud infrastructure. So let's open this DigitalOcean website, and let's go. And then if we go to products, you can see what kind of products they offer. For instance, compute, so droplets, storage, they have two storage in here, object storage and block storage. All right, so then databases, they have MySQL, PostgreSQL, Redis, and then they offer some networking services. So that means, again, you can use these services and build your own infrastructure. So droplets, for instance, this is a virtual server, but in here in DigitalOcean, they don't call it EC2, they call it droplets. You can read in here, spin up your choice of virtual machine in just 45 seconds. So this is called droplets in here, all right? So this DigitalOcean is just another example of IaaS, or infrastructure as a service. Now let's go back to the presentation. Now let's talk about the second platform, which is PaaS, or Platform as a Service. So this cloud computing model simplifies the development, test, and delivery of software applications. And these software applications are usually web or mobile applications. That means you can deploy and deliver your web or mobile application to your clients without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So that means you don't need to think about infrastructure. So Platform as a Service provider will take care of that infrastructure. All right. So now let's take a look at examples. So because with examples, again, it's gonna be very clear. So two examples in here. So the first one is Heroku, and the second one is AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So the second one, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, is a service provided by Amazon Web Services, or AWS, and Heroku is another service it's not related to AWS. All right. So let's start with Heroku. So I will again go to, so I can close this DigitalOcean. So I'm gonna write here in my Google search engine Heroku, and then you can read in here which says Heroku is a cloud platform as a service supporting several programming languages. And you can read in here as well, Heroku is a platform as a service, PaaS. All right. So now let's open this Heroku, and you can read in here officially supported languages. So this Heroku supports several programming languages like Node.js, Ruby, Java, PHP, Python, Go, etc., etc. So you can develop web applications, for instance, using any of these programming languages, and then you can deploy them into Heroku. All right, but don't think that this is just a web hosting provider. It's a cloud-based hosting provider. Why? Because if I scroll down here, you can read in here, for instance, it says scale, right? So Heroku scales an instant both vertically and horizontally. So that means it can automatically, of course, if you want, it can automatically grow or shrink your infrastructure based on the workload, all right? While traditional web hosting providers cannot do that one, they don't scale, all right? So now let's talk about the other one, which is AWS Beanstalk. So I will go again, so I can close this and this. So I can go again to these services in AWS, and under these compute, I can find in here Elastic Beanstalk. Now I'm going to open that one. So this is similar to Heroku, but it's provided by AWS. And then you can read in here, deploy, monitor, and scale an application quickly and easily. So again, here with AWS Elastic Beanstalk, you don't need to worry about underlying infrastructure. So you can just, if I scroll down, it says get started in 3 easy steps. Select a platform. So first of all, you need to develop your web application. For instance, if it's PHP, then you need to select platform PHP. Then you need to upload an application. So you will upload your application and then you run it. That's it. And then it can scale. So that means it can grow or shrink. All right. So that's why it is cloud-based PaaS. All right. So now let's go back to the presentation and let's consider the third one. So which is also the last cloud computing model. So the last one is software as a service. All right. So this one in the third one, it provides you a complete product. All right. And it is run and managed by the service provider. In SaaS, you don't need to worry about how the services are run and managed. All right. Because they will provide you a complete product. You just need to think about how to use these services or SaaS services. All right. Now let's take a look at examples. So examples may include Dropbox, Mega, Microsoft 365. So I think you already know about Dropbox or Mega. So this is a cloud-based file storage service. So let's take a look at this one. So if I write in the Google search engine Dropbox, So you can read in here, Dropbox is a file hosting service operated by the American company Dropbox. All right, so it offers cloud storage, file synchronization, personal cloud, and client software. So that means you can install their application because they provide application, and then you can install their application on your computer, and then you can start synchronizing your files to the cloud or to the Dropbox. That means you can access those files from anywhere because they are synchronized in Dropbox in the cloud. All right, so this is one example of the Dropbox. Mega is another similar example. So this is also cloud storage. All right, so in here you can also install their software on your computer, and then you can start synchronizing your files. Now, you might have a question. Okay, now we know about cloud computing models. Which model does the AWS fall into? Well, AWS has many services, as you can see in here. All right, some of their services may fall into IaaS, some of them may fall into PaaS, and some of them into SaaS. For instance, as I have mentioned before, this one, EC2, it's a virtual server. This is an example of IaaS. While this one, Elastic Beanstalk, this is an example of PaaS. And the other one, so for instance, Simple Email Service. Let me open this one. So this one, as you can read in here, it's a cloud-based email sending service. All right, and many business people, for instance, marketers, they use this one for digital marketing. All right, so this is an example of cloud-based email sending service, which also goes to this one, software as a service. All right, so this was about this tutorial. So that's it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.